I'm ready.
Because I don't know what y'all are smoking. I like this film.
I like this film.
Here, turn it towards you, my friend.
Honestly, Loki, this might be slander, I kind of like it better than Logan. Just back at it again on my Let's Play.
Here we are, ready to talk about
the Wolverine.
2013's The Wolverine.
Yes. Love that film.
Another entry into the X-Men franchise.
Yes. If I look to the classic suit.
Wolverine 6.
Yes.
Technically Wolverine 2, Wolverine 6, and Wolverine 20. This movie is obviously
an homage to Wolverine, because there was no film back at that point that had enough of Wolverine.
No movies have ever had Wolverine in the way that this movie had Wolverine. So they were continuing the franchise, and they knew that the best way to continue the franchise, kind of in this lull period, was to have films about Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
First Class was a big, probably not a big hit. It was kind of it was a good film that came out.
It was a good film, but just not a lot of traction.
Yeah, because at that point, like we mentioned earlier on, Wolverine, it was the face of the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
So the last film that had happened, well, the last film being X-Men Origins Wolverine, kind of messed them up a bit, which is when they brought in James Mangold, who was a director who had done things like 3:10 to Yuma, westerns, Oh
yeah.
They brought him in to bring this film a new light, a new context of the character. And they adapted the classic Chris Claremont, Frank Miller story where he goes to Japan, and brought it to the films pretty much. And they were trying to establish Wolverine as kind of obviously a darker kind of Ronin, rather than in the previous film making him like this action Schwarzenegger type. And I enjoyed this film when it came out. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I thought it achieved that darkness that it needed to for a PG-13 film still. But you can kind of see, especially with the benefit of hindsight, this film being one more step towards something like Deadpool, towards something like Logan, So when Wolverine came out, what did you think about it, Brian?
So when I first heard about the film, I really didn't really know a whole lot of the context. So I was just like, okay, he's going to Japan. That's sick.
Yeah.
I didn't really think much of it. And then watching the film, I love the story, and I love how it's all interconnected a little bit more to his past. And it is a continuation of Origins in a way, but it's definitely more of looking into his psyche, into his physicality of like, we can cure you and we can help you die. We can help you really become who you really want. And that's always been an issue within kind of all of the X-Men films or Wolverine films per se. If looking at Logan and his humanity, and that's why Logan works so well, because it finally acknowledges him as a human, and finally acknowledges not even as a human but him as himself,
Yeah. Well,
and so Wolverine definitely is that step to looking into that. It's one last final bastion of a true Wolverine film where we see him being Wolverine. It's all straight up about him, all about his history, all about his past, all about his future, and all about his eventual demise in the later film.
Well, the movie picks up after the events of The Last Stand, where he killed Jean Grey to save the world and everything, and he's obviously in mourning, and is kind of similar to how X-Men: The Last Stand opens up with Cyclops, where you see him in this depressed mode where he doesn't want to be part of the adventure. But he's called to it because of what happens in that opening scene of Hiroshima. And one thing I really like about this film is how brutal it gets. The violence is depicted intensely better than in the Wolverine Origins film. It's not as comical. They deal with actual stakes in it. There's not as much blood as I would like, but I understand
Yeah.
why. I understand why, you know. But the action is just brutal enough.
Yeah.
What they did to me, what I am, can't be undone.
It's a good feeling to know that they're getting to the perfection of the actual rated R rating, but until then, it's kind of like, it's a good film for anyone to kind of like get into it, no matter what age and stuff like that, without having to I feel like, kids and teenagers, they can handle it, especially with what the fuck they're watching nowadays and stuff like that. I'd rather them watch that than some skibbity toilet bullshit. But
The boys.
the boys. But it's definitely, it's definitely it's understanding how far to reach into that PG-13 market.
Yeah, well, and also the whole idea of this movie, where Wolverine is dealing with his past in a very different way than beforehand, because he's always dealing with the idea of, I don't know what my past is.
Yeah.
But here he's dealing kind of with the consequences of his past in saving someone. You know? Which is really unique with the character, because it's usually like, I killed this guy, I did this to this person and everything. Here,
if anything,
I saved
it kind
someone.
of almost reads like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
A video game like Mass Effect.
Or, well, I would say more so The Last of Us, I think. This is more aligned with something like The Last of Us.
I guess actually, Because, the only reason why I bring up Mass Effect as a joke,
I can't help
as a joke, because I can't help it. But also, like, in Mass Effect and a lot of those like strategy games, whatever choices you make, even no matter if it is morally the best choice, there's always going to be a consequence that comes after. Even for the people that you save, they'll fucking kill you in the next game. It's just like, you motherfucker, I should have let you die. I should just let you die.
You suck. Shepard does not like this. Logan. The movie, I like a lot of it up until the very last battle. I think because they feel like they have to become this big CGI comic book thing.
Yeah.
You know, I love the Silver Samurai from the comic books, where he is a mutant, where he deals with he has this power to vibrate his sword to the point where it can cut through anything. Like his sword is filled with so much energy that it can cut through anything. Yeah. And throughout the original run, Wolverine learns to become a samurai, you know, and goes on all these adventures in Japan. And it's set in the 80s specifically, so it's obviously a very different book than what this turned out to be.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish they went more in that direction, because I love the scene where he fights the father, you know, in their house, in the Yoshida household. I thought that was really cool. That could have been, you know, the final battle for me, you know, just maybe a little bit more heightened. But the very end is kind of where it falls apart for me a little bit. But I love. This is where I think Hugh Jackman is at one of his best performances.
Immensely,
you know, because you can see him. This is the first time I saw him as a war veteran.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. Well, honestly, with a little bit of origins and stuff like that. Well, actually, no, you're right. This is the first film where we actually do see the consequences of him with his past, with him
that
living
vibe,
so
right?
long,
Yeah.
with him being a veteran of World War II. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, especially with when you see the bomb drop in Hiroshima.
Oh yeah,
where
that's a really cool, powerful scene. Right there, you know.
It's I saw it like I saw in Oppenheimer. They would cut to that scene. Did you see that? You know, it just went right from there to the Wolverine.
It went from that with Florence Pugh, you know.
You could watch Oppenheimer and then double feature it with
actually
triple feature the Wolverine and Godzilla -1.
Oh my god, I still have not seen that movie, and I need to see it now.
It's on Netflix.
I know it is. I know. No, my grandma, she introduced me to Godzilla, so I had to find a day to like schedule out where I watch it with my grandma. You know. Oh no, I love Godzilla. As a Godzilla fan, it's a crime that I haven't seen it yet.
You're Juggernaut.
Oh, the Juggernaut, bitch!
Well, what do you think of the tone here? Because it's obviously like a drastic. It's contrasted.
Oh yeah.
From Wolverine, the Wolverine we've seen to that point.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's a lot more harder edge. He's a lot more like, oh fuck you, I don't want to do this shit, bub. Like, what do you think of that type of Wolverine where he is more mature and he's less like he's an asshole, but he's like proper Wolverine asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love the change. I mean, as a kid, you like a little bit more of the comical sense because you're just a kid. As an adult, you kind of relate. I mean, you still like it, but it just depends on how it's written, you know?
Yeah.
You want something that's nice and fun, but not too cheeky, where it's like, all right, this is made for, like, a child, you know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely nice to have that bit of change. Also, like, just to like reference another shit that I also loved that was kind of a bit similar but like way different was Batman and the Ronin where I think it was a DC animation film where Batman gets transported to feudal Japan.
Oh yeah, Batman Ninja.
Yeah, and that movie's good, but it's different because it's not a serious Batman film. It's definitely a much more drawn out, funny film, but it works well, you know? Like you would never imagine that would work out well. So it's very similar with this where it's both. There's just something about samurai, like something about having your character introduced within honor, within the aspects of feudal Japan. There's just something that brings something new that works with your characters, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah. This was a much needed like palate cleanser for the character.
Immensely, yeah.
You know?
And it's so apropos to call it the Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know, even after you could argue all the X-Men films are about the Wolverine and origins Wolverine, this film is the Wolverine, and it clearly states that within because it's letting you know this film should be the basis of what Wolverine should always be.
The
and
Wolverine.
Nothing less and nothing more.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
The Batman.
The Batman.
The podcast.
Bumbling Cinema.
Bumbling Cinema. Hashtag.
The Skinwalkers.
What was I going to say?
The Defect Curators.
Shit, what was I going to say? Well, this is very much like, if we're looking at Wolverine and Logan later on, Wolverine is like a nice chocolate bar. Logan is Fudgy the Whale, all right? It's the whole deal.
Let's be honest. Well, Logan is a beautiful pie. It's a beautiful chocolate pie. A little mascarpone on. It's perfect. It's nice. It's sweet. A little bit of saltiness. Wolverine, however, is brownies. It's just as good. It's amazing too. And it's really juicy, really amazing. But it's not the same, you know? A pie's whole and a pie leaves you satisfied. A brownie is an appetizer. It leaves you wanting more. And that's what the Wolverine is.
Man, Wolverine would cut your ass up if you compared him to brownies.
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Say it loud.
Why did you have to word it like that?
Like what? A brownie?
You said something pie and then something creamy.
Yeah, a little mascarpone, a little cream on top. A little cream on top.
A little bit of cinnamon.
I mean, dude, Justin, you don't put Cool Whip on your pie?
I mean, yes, I do.
I mean,
that's not the same
the
shit.
man's black, he knows. No.
All right.
Not like Barack Obama.
You're exactly like him. Anyway, let's move on.
I'm cutting this whole part.
Let's move on